YouTube? It is your girl Uniquely Shanique, and I am here with another video. It's been a while, right? I promised you guys that I was going to come back with some content prior to today. I'm like a whole entire week late on coming to you with content, but hey, better late than never, right? So here I am. The biggest news I have is that I actually had my surgery already. I know. I was supposed to vlog while I was in Miami. I was supposed to vlog going to Miami, coming home. I was supposed to vlog immediately after surgery, etc. None of that happened. Recovery has kicked my butt. I'm gonna explain why in a minute. We're gonna talk about everything that happened though. I'm gonna give you the rundown. I'm gonna spill the tea. Right now I'm getting ready to make me some breakfast because your girl is starving. Gonna make me some avocado toast, a little bit of a fried egg, maybe some turkey bacon. And then while I do that, we can chit chat. So step up, come on, sit down, relax, and come and get this tea, sis. So as I just mentioned, my surgery was on Tuesday, November 9th. So that put my pre-op date on Monday, November 8th. So basically, the dog and I, we left Georgia. We flew Hartsfield International, left here from Georgia on Monday morning at like 7 a.m. 7:30, I think my flight was actually. We headed to the airport, got to the airport on time, flight left on time, everything's perfect with my flight. Landed in Miami around 9 a.m. And because I didn't do a recovery home, instead I actually went with an Airbnb and then hired my own private nurse. Because that's the way I went, I had to actually get a rental car. So me personally, I am a executive elite member with National Car Rental Company. So the way I book is, because I have that executive elite status, basically I can book with National. I can book any size car. So what I do is I usually just book like compact cars. And because of my executive elite status, even though I book a compact car, I basically can get any vehicle that's in their executive elite aisle. So I knew that I wanted to go with a bigger SUV, being that I was probably going to spend majority of my riding time laying down in the trunk. So I wanted to get a SUV. So basically, when you have elite status, when you have Emerald Club member status, I should say, with a National, you don't even have to go to the check-in counter. You basically, you land, you get to the rental car center, and you just walk straight to the parking garage. You go to the aisle of your status. My status again is executive elite. So went to the executive elite aisle. They had tons and tons of SUVs, luckily for me. So I picked this little really cute brand new Kia Sorento, really nice truck. It had two back rows, so I knew like, okay, there's a lot of room to lay down if need be. So got that, and then I headed to the surgery center for my pre-op appointment. Got to the surgery center a little bit before, I want to say like 10:30. Walked in, signed in. Immediately they handed me this big old packet of paperwork to fill out. It took me like 30 minutes to complete the paperwork. I wanted to make sure that I read what I was signing. I didn't want to just sign my life away, because that's literally what you're doing. You're signing your life away. And so read through the paperwork. Really important to read through the paperwork, because there's things in there that you don't know unless you actually like read. So for instance, the paperwork is like, these are the potential hazards of having this type of surgery. These are the different things that you might experience as far as like symptoms and side effects. It's basically you agreeing to all this information. One thing that I was unhappy with seeing while I was reading through the paperwork was there was a clause in there that basically mentioned something like, at times there might be another surgeon in the room, and your surgeon might designate this other surgeon to handle specific tasks. Something to that matter. That's not verbatim, but that was basically like the gist of it all. Oh wait, I forgot my bread. I'm making toast, right? How am I making toast with no bread? Hold on. So yeah, as I was saying, I wasn't too happy seeing that clause in my contract. I kind of wish that was mentioned before I even paid a single penny, because I think that would have probably changed my decision a little bit. The reason why I would have changed my decision a little bit is because I've seen plenty of girls in these surgery groups say things about, wondering if their surgeon was actually the one who performed their surgery based on like how their results turned out. So I definitely wasn't happy with seeing that clause. But hey, it was too late. I was there. I paid my money, so hey, it is what it is. But anyway, I filled out all the paperwork. That took me about like 20, maybe 30 minutes. Gave it back to the front desk staff. I want to say like maybe 5 or 10 minutes later, someone from finance came and she pulled me into her office. And my surgery was paid for in full. I wasn't one of those girls that was like, oh, I'm not paying for my surgery until I get my until pre-op or whatever. I just felt like, what the hell, like just pay it. I knew I was gonna have my surgery. I was pretty confident that I was gonna get cleared medically. I know my medical status, etc. So there wasn't any issues there for me. So I paid it. But in the financial portion, I still had to pay for my post-op thigh-high garment from the surgery center. That was $140. I also had to pay for my neck garment because I got chin lipo, which was a complete waste of my goddamn time. And we'll get into that also probably in another video, but whatever. Had to pay for both items. And then also I had to give like water signatures on all of the receipts for all of the previous payments that I had made on my surgery. Because again, I made payments on my surgery, but I paid it up in full before I even got there. After I finished that portion, I went back to the waiting area, maybe like another 5-10 minutes. Then an MA called me, and she took me to the bathroom to do a urine sample to test for like any UTIs, kidney infections, things like that, but then also to test for pregnancy. So she sat in the bathroom with me, had to leave the door open, whatever. Took that, went back to the waiting area, maybe waited like another 10-15 minutes, and then a nurse came and she took me in her office. She and I went over the paperwork I filled out. You know, she made sure that everything was copacetic, made sure that there wasn't any like red flags, etc. And she also took pictures of me, so I had to get completely naked in her office. She took pictures of me, and she also weighed me at that point. Once we did all of that, she basically gave me my pre-surgery instructions, like, oh, make sure you wash tonight with HIPAA cleanse, make sure you wash tomorrow with HIPAA cleanse, you know, just give me instructions like that. Also let me know that someone from the office would be calling me later that afternoon with my exact surgery time. So that was that. All in all, I would say I walked in a little bit before 10:30. It was 11:56 when I walked out. So I always hear girls complain about like how long pre-op takes, how they can be there all day. That wasn't the case for me. I was there for a little over, I was there for like an hour and a half basically, you might as well say. It was no big deal for me. I was cool with it. So left pre-op. By then, my mother and my little brother were actually landing in Miami. So I left pre-op, headed back to the airport to go pick them up. And my Airbnb wasn't ready to check in yet. So I was like, okay, cool, we can go grab lunch. So we sat, grabbed lunch while we were eating. The Airbnb hostess let me know that the Airbnb actually was ready. So once we finished, we went and we dropped off our luggage. After dropping off our luggage, we headed to the grocery store because we weren't going to spend all this money on eating out when we had a full kitchen, etc. So I went to the grocery store around 3:30. The surgery center actually called me to let me know that my appointment would be for 9:45 the next morning, which honestly I was a bit disappointed about. I wanted to have the very first appointment. One thing that I saw a lot in surgery groups is that they go based off your BMI. Now, I can't say this is the case for everyone, but I can say the case for me. One of my surgery sisters, her BMI was like a 30, and she had the 6:30 appointment. My BMI was a 32. So I don't know where this rumor that they go based off BMI came from, but that ain't what happened on November 9th. I can tell you that with absolute certainty. But whatever, no big deal. I said it is what it is. Surgery time was for 9:45 in the morning. That still wasn't too bad. So that night, you know, I basically just hung out, chilled with the family, watched TV, nothing major, prepared the bed and everything, etc. I did wash that night with HIPAA cleanse as instructed. The next morning, I did the same exact thing. And then we headed to the surgery center. So I got to the surgery center at like 9:15. Super thirsty, right? Super thirsty. Got there at 9:15, signed in. Noticed that on the sign-in book, I want to say it was one, maybe two girls that were also signed in. And I was pretty happy about that because I honestly want to say it was only one girl signed in. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. I was pretty happy about that because I'm like, oh, cool, you know, that means he's not doing too many girls before me. So I was, y'all just don't understand how ecstatic I was. You know, you hear these horror stories about surgeons doing 12, 16, 20 girls a day, which is absolutely ridiculous. And I also think that probably attributes to the results of girls not being happy with their results. So anyway, I signed in. Literally, it was before 9:30 before they even called me to the back to change into my garment. They also made me do another urine sample. So the urine sample changed into my surgery gear and the waiting began. So I sat in the back room maybe until like 10:30, 10:45. Give me a second. Sat in the back room 10:30, maybe 10:45-ish. And then finally my surgeon walked in. He walked in, we talked things through. You know, he told me what I could expect from surgery, what's normal, what's not normal, what he can do, what he can't do, all that jazz. And then he marked me up. I asked little questions. I didn't really have major questions, but I asked a few things. To be honest with you, I don't even remember what I asked him. But I know one thing I didn't ask him was, I didn't ask him what type of shape he was gonna get me. And so after he left and I didn't ask him like, oh, you know, I don't want a natural shape, I want projection. I didn't tell him any of that shit, like a complete idiot. I don't know what I was thinking. So I was a bit nervous, like, dang, what am I gonna do? I didn't even get a chance to tell him the type of body type I wanted, blah, blah, blah. So it was what it was. He basically let me know that at that point, someone would be coming to get me from the back. It would be like another 15, 20-minute wait, and we would be from there. I'm not gonna lie, y'all, before the surgeon walked into the room, I was having like doubts. I was starting to like wonder if I was making the right decision. Y'all remember that video, I'm Pretty from TLC? Y'all remember that part where like Chili was about to get her breast implants and she just like ran out of the surgery center with nothing but her robe on and busted through the front door? Like, I was really on the verge of doing that. I did get really nervous out of nowhere. But I didn't. I stayed there. I watched Girlfriends on my phone. And I just waited. So the doctor came in, marked me up, we talked. He told me like another 15, 20 minutes, somebody else will come get me, bring me to the actual surgery room, and it is what it is. So I want to say I waited like another 30, maybe 45 minutes before someone came and got me. I want to say he was like the anesthesiology tech. One, just because he was super young looking, and two, because once we got into the surgery room, another older gentleman walked in and he was like telling him like, oh, this is what I did to prep, this is what I'm doing now, this is how much I'm injecting him, what, etc., etc. Like, he was getting like permission from someone to do all the things that he was doing. So I want to say he's an anesthesiology tech. He was super cool, you know, he made jokes, tried to make me feel comfortable. As I was walking to the surgery room, my nerves like had gone. But while I was sitting in that room, in that waiting room, I'm not gonna lie to y'all, I was a bit nervous. I was about to change my mind. But anyway, we walked to the surgery room. The doctor actually came into the surgery room before he put me to sleep. And I was like, thank God. I took the opportunity to let him know like what I wanted, what look I was going for, etc. He basically was like, yeah, like I wouldn't do anything else. Like, why else would we be here if you weren't coming for a vixen shape? Why else would we be here if you weren't coming for projection, etc.? So I was cool. I was relieved to know that even though I didn't have the opportunity to tell him that was the type of wave that he was on regardless. So anyway, before I knew it, I was waking up. A lot of people talk about waking up feeling extremely cold and shivering. I didn't experience that at all. I was the complete opposite. So I woke up on my back and it was hurting. My butt wasn't hurting. My lower back was hurting. Like, I was extremely arched. Like, it hurt really bad. So I like immediately tried to like turn myself over. So I literally like grabbed the bed rails and I was attempting to turn over. Next thing I know, a nurse was coming to help me and she's like, oh no, let me help you turn over. So she helped me turn over to my stomach, and then suddenly I was extremely hot. I realized that she had a heater like blowing in my face, and then I think she put my robe on top of me, and then I think she also put like a heated blanket or something on me. Whatever she put on me, I was so hot. I was like, oh my gosh, like this has to come off of me. So I attempted to take off whatever she put on my back, and she was like, no mommy, you have to 20 minutes. And I'm like, lady, I'm hot. Like, no, 20 minutes ain't gonna work like this. And so I heard her call my mom, you know, hey Brenda, you know, Shanique was ready, blah, blah, blah. And she just kept telling me like 20 more minutes, 20 more minutes. And I'm just like, lady, I'm hot. Like I need to go now. I don't know how much time it took from me waking up until I actually was getting wheeled out. It seemed pretty quick. Yeah, I have no idea how long it took. But nonetheless, I will say that I went into surgery somewhere around 11:30, maybe 11:45. And the next time I looked at a clock, it was 2:10. And I want to say I looked at the time on our way to the Airbnb. So surgery wasn't too long. Surgery and then waking up, recovery, all that stuff, it wasn't that long at all. So they wheeled me out. I didn't feel any coldness. I didn't feel any pain. I didn't feel any of that. By the time I got to the car, that's when the pain hit, and it hit so hard. So the night before my surgery, I explained to my mom and my brother, like, hey, I'm going to need water. In the water, put in some liquid IV for me. I'm going to need my pain meds, so please go to the pharmacy and get my prescription filled before you pick me up. And they did all of that. Like, kudos to my brother, kudos to my mom. They handled all of that without a doubt. So as soon as I got into the car, my brother handed me my water, my brother handed me my pain pill, and my body was on fire. Like, I've never experienced anything like that in my life. I was burning and it hurt so bad. The Airbnb was about maybe 30 minutes from the surgery center. And before I even got to the Airbnb, I needed more meds. Luckily, my brother had a stronger strength of Percocet with him, so he gave me one of those pills also. So I had Percocet 5-325, Percocet 10-325, and I was still in so much pain. Got into the Airbnb. I started popping Tylenol like Skittles, and I was in so much pain. I want to say it was maybe 6 hours of just like excruciating pain before I got to a point where I'm not even gonna say I didn't feel the pain. I'm gonna say that the meds had me so high that I didn't realize. I realized the pain, but the pain wasn't as intense, I should say. So finally, I'm gonna say around 6 hours or so is when I finally was able to just like lay down and chill out. By then, my nurse had also got there and she was checking my vitals. So shout out to Nurse China. I was high as a kite. I was out of it. I was asleep half the time, but she was able to monitor my vitals and everything, and I really appreciate it. So after surgery, you know, my vitals were off the chart. She did what she had to do to get my vitals back to normal. I have no idea what she did because I was asleep the entire time, to be honest with you. But I do remember at one point she was saying that my blood pressure was like 178 over like 90 or something. So super high, but by the time she left, my vitals were within normal ranges. I was stable. So hey, it is what it is. So that was day one. Those first couple of hours, not gonna lie, it was completely miserable. Never experienced pain like that in my life. Body was on fire. That's all I have to say. So rest of that day, I slept. I tried to eat some soup, didn't work. I literally was like sipping on it, wasn't interested. And that was day one. Day one post-op. So Wednesday the 10th, I had to go to my post-op appointment. My post-op appointment was at 2, I wanna say. Yeah, my post-op appointment was at 2. My massage was supposed to be that morning at like 10 a.m. Now, I used Massage by Ari's team. Personally, I wouldn't use them again. One, their massage therapist basically always came when they felt like coming. So Ari and like her administrative people, or like the people that like do the email communications, etc., they were really good. I wasn't a fan of the 2 massage therapists that she sent to me, so personally, I wouldn't use them again. I mean, I think they did a good job, but I felt like they came when they wanted to come. They would tell me one time and they come at a completely different time. It was always an excuse. So anyway, so I used my first day, right? So my post-op appointment was at 2 o'clock. I explained to them that my post-op appointment was at 2 o'clock. So my massage was supposed to be at, I want to say 10 a.m. Massage therapist messaged me, basically let me know that he wouldn't be there at 10 a.m. because he had a massage that was about an hour out and that he was gonna be late. Cool, he said he'll be there by 12. 12 rolled around, he called me at 12. The time that he's supposed to be there, he called me to let me know he wasn't gonna be there at 12, and then asked if he could come after my appointment. I was super uncomfortable. I really wanted a massage. Like, I had so much drainage. I wanted to get out of this garment. I was completely disgusted, so I was annoyed. So no, basically, like, no, you said you're gonna be here at 10. Then you said you're gonna be at 12. You calling me at 12 to tell me you're not gonna be here at 12. Like, no, you need to be here before my pre-op appointment. So, my post-op appointment, sorry. So, he basically, long story short, he ended up getting there before my post-op appointment, but he still ended up being late, which made me late for my post-op appointment. So I was just really annoyed. But anyway, it is what it is. Got to my post-op appointment. They took pictures, asked me how I was feeling, all of the good stuff. Went home, was finally able to shower. You can't shower for 24 hours. And I was draining so much. I had so much fluid. I had Chuck's pads in my garment. I had gauze in my garment. It was just absolutely disgusting. So after my post-op appointment, went home, I showered, felt a little better, slept, barely ate. And honestly, that entire week I was in Miami, I had zero energy to do anything. I slept just about all the time, on my stomach, of course, which was giving me headaches, so I was miserable, but I literally didn't have the energy to do anything. And hey, it is what it is. One thing I will say, before going to Miami, I had prepped like this entire grocery list, this whole menu of things that I wanted to eat that were going to be healthy. And that was cool, right? However, in my opinion, eating those healthy meals kept me feeling like shit. I'm gonna just keep it 100 with you. Like, when I was eating things like chicken, baked chicken, or whatever the case may be, I was feeling like shit. I could barely eat. I had little energy. But on the days that I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna eat like some pizza. Like, for instance, one day I had Domino's and I felt amazing. Say all that to say is that maybe them first couple days of after surgery, being like quote unquote the healthiest isn't the best idea. Definitely do things in moderation, but like maybe a cheeseburger, maybe a slice of pizza. Of course, you know, don't eat 5 slices of pizza. Don't eat, 2 double cheeseburgers and a whole thing of large fries. But I definitely suggest eating something like more fatty, more oily, because when I ate those meals versus the meals that I had planned that were healthy, like my energy level was everything. My headaches was like completely different. I felt the world different. So just like in hindsight, I probably should have just been eating, of course, decently, but I should just be eating like oily, greasy foods as opposed to like high protein and, no fat type foods. That shit was not a good idea anyway. So between November 10th, Wednesday, November 10th, and Monday, November 15th, I literally didn't have any energy. I got massages every day. Again, I use massage by Ari's team. I wouldn't use them again. Like I said, massage therapists, they both got there when they felt like it. They would tell me one time come at a completely different time. The one that came the day after my surgery made me late for post-op. The one that came on my last day there almost made me miss my flight. So yeah, definitely wouldn't use them again. But hey, it is what it is. I was extremely tired. Took my antibiotics. Tried to stay away from the Percocets, but sometimes the pain levels was high enough for me to use them. So actually, let me run that back real quick. So day 1, like the day of surgery, extreme burning, had to take the Percocet. The day after surgery was more so of like a really sore feeling. I had a lot of bruising. Bruises was crazy sore. So more so I used Tylenol for that. Day 3, the stiffness hit me. And I was crazy stiff. And nothing I did was working as far as like making me comfortable with the stiffness. So I want to say that day I also went back to the Percocet. And then amongst all of that, I was still taking my vitamins. So as I told y'all before, mini blood builders, folic acid, Floridex, and Hemoplex. I continued to take. After surgery, you lose a lot of blood. It was really important for me to be able to rebuild those iron levels, be able to rebuild those hemoglobin levels. So the day after surgery, so that Wednesday, I went back to take my vitamins as scheduled. And then I also added collagen tablets and bromelain tablets. Bromelain is really good for like the swelling, the inflammation, etc. Collagen is really good for like muscle repair, body repair, collagen, you know, peptide repairs, etc. So that's why I added those two. So I took those medicines all throughout the week. Literally slept the entire time. I had horrible migraines from sleeping on my stomach. Only pain relief they would really let you take is Tylenol. That was not working. It was absolutely horrible. So on Tuesday, November 16th, we came home. I see girls say that they fly back day 3 and day 4. I would not suggest it. I flew back on day 7 post-op, and it was miserable for me. The ride to the airport was hard. Dropping off the rental car was hard. Walking from the rental car center. Like, if you've been to Miami Airport and you rented a car in Miami Airport, you know exactly what I mean. Walking from the rental car center down to the check-in section was difficult. I didn't want a wheelchair because I didn't want to sit on that hard-ass surface fresh out of surgery. So I had to walk it. It took a lot out of me. I'm TSA pre-check, so getting through TSA was a breeze. It was literally like 1 or 2 people ahead of me, but everything was just a lot. And on top of that, like I mentioned, my massage therapist almost made me miss my flight because she was so late getting to me. I expressed to her all week that I needed somebody to be there at like 6:30 in the morning because I needed to leave my Airbnb by 9 o'clock. Sis showed up at 8:30. Like, whatever. That's neither here or there. It is what it is. It was done, it's done. But it took a lot out of me because I also had to rush. So I didn't use the wheelchair services. I could barely walk, and I had to move really, really fast. So basically, by the time I got onto the airplane, I was super lightheaded, couldn't breathe, I was sweating. Like I mentioned, I bought my dog, so I had to deal with that. It just was a mess. The flight attendant was a godsend though. I flew back first class. She was a godsend. She let me sit on my knees basically the entire flight. Like, literally, she only made me get up at the very, very last minute. So I definitely appreciated that because sitting on my knees was definitely way more comfortable than having to sit on my butt. So the flight home, it was bad. I can't imagine flying home any earlier than 8 days. I wouldn't say that waiting 10 days would have been any better, but I damn sure know that I wouldn't have made it trying to fly home on day 3 or day 4. So we flew back, got back to Atlanta, and yeah, it's been rough. The first couple days were rough, because again, you know, can't sleep on your back. Sleeping on my stomach was definitely giving me migraines. I bought the booty bean bag and my stitches are bothering me, so sitting in that was difficult. Laying on the couch was difficult. The most comfortable place I found actually was like the floor, and still was having crazy migraines. So on day 10, I said fuck it and took some Advil. I know you're not supposed to use Advil that early. Couldn't handle it anymore. Took Advil, and was actually still, I was getting relief, but I was still having multiple migraines a day. So then on the day 11, I really took a big risk. I said, get me some Excedrin migraine. And you know, Excedrin migraine the difference between Excedrin migraine and Tylenol is that it has aspirin in it as well. And let me tell you, that was the best decision I could have made. I know I'm not supposed to be taking aspirin this soon, but that shit helped so good. Like, I woke up this morning, took Excedrin migraine yesterday. This entire time, I've been waking up every single morning with headaches. I've been waking up after every single night with headaches. I took Excedrin migraine one time yesterday and woke up pretty fine this morning. In my opinion, the amount of Tylenol I was taking and the amount of Advil I was taking is way more dangerous than me just taking, you know, aspirin once. So that's the risk I'm running with right now. It is what it is. I'm no longer draining fluid and things like that, so I'm not too worried. Hey, I'm still getting massages. My massage therapist in Atlanta, I'm using Body by RN. The owner, her name is Zandra. Absolutely love them. Communication is stellar, professional, etc. Love them. I get massages every single day right now. The plan is for me to get massages every day up until this upcoming Wednesday. And that would have put me at 15 consecutive massages. And then after that, I'm gonna go to 3 a day for 2 weeks. Then 3 a week for 2 weeks. Then 2 a week for 2 weeks. And then I'm going to do 1 a week for about 4 weeks. And then I'll assess. But basically by the end of the day, I would have had about 31 massages, and then I will see from there. Let me see. Looking at my notes. As of yesterday, my sleeping has been better. Like I said, I took the essential migraine. Woke up this morning perfectly fine. So I think I'm gonna be able to get a full night's sleep. The medications I already explained to y'all what I'm taking. Symptoms, haven't really had any other than like stiffness and soreness, swelling, things like that. So pretty normal. I'm starting to get like my normal range of motion back. It's hard for me to bend at the hips, but I can basically get on my knees and, you know, do things like that. So I'm there. I'm good from there as well. So far, I love my results. I know they say your body changes a lot over the 6 months. And it makes me sad because the body I have now is the body I want. They always tell you don't fall in love with the off the table booty. I didn't like my off the table booty because it was like really big and it was high and it hurt my back. I got off the table with my hips measuring at 53 inches. On day 10, my hips were 47.5 inches, and that is the size that I love. So they said that's gonna change and I'm not gonna keep it. I'm sad about that. I really want this 47.5 inch booty. It's perfect. Right now I'm weighing 172 pounds. I'm assuming it's because I'm still holding a lot of swelling, but I like the way I look at 172 pounds. I'm actually okay with me getting to 175. So when I do, like, when our swelling is all gone and I do get to the point where I can get back into the gym, my intention is to hit 175 pounds and keep it there because your girl's looking a little thick. I ain't even gonna lie to you. But yeah, I think that's it. That was the gist of what I wanted to tell you all. I know I had all these big plans and all this stuff that I thought I was gonna be able to do right after surgery, and that did not happen. Regrets that I have, one, I regret the using massages by Ari, because the quality of massage I got in Miami, like, I understand I was still bruised and everything, but I don't feel like they moved and worked out fluid the way they should have. They drained me the way I should have, because the way that the girls here in Atlanta are working on me is completely different. So honestly, I feel like I'm not happy with using massages by Ari. I know she comes like highly recommended. It could have just been the luck of the draw. The 2 different massage therapists that I worked with specifically just, you know, weren't up to what I needed, and that's okay. You know, they might have been great for other people, but for me personally, they weren't great. So that was one regret. Another regret I had was the fact that, you know, me and Ari discussed the fact that, you know, I asked her before I even booked, hey, you know, this is the day I'm leaving. I'm kind of nervous leaving this day and not having a massage prior to it. My flight's pretty early. Is it going to be possible? She assured me that it would be possible to get a massage therapist there early. The day before, I emailed her and asked her again, like, hey, you're going to have a massage therapist here by 6:30? She promised me, like, yeah, massage therapist is going to get there by 6:30. The massage therapist didn't arrive until 8:30. So definitely wasn't happy. They were nice, but I'm extremely disappointed. I feel like it was a waste of my money, especially considering the fact that, like, how my girls here drain me versus how they drain me. Well, massage me versus how they massage me. I feel like massages by Ari was a complete waste of my money, and I paid a pretty penny. I paid her like $635, and I feel like I was cheated. So that's a big regret. That's probably the only regret I have so far, is using that team. All the other, like, massage therapy groups and stuff that I hear about, I think I should have went with one of them. Honestly, I probably should have went with a nurse. Like, you have all these nurses that also do like draining massages, and you have like massage therapists. In hindsight, I would have just went with a nurse the entire way. I loved my post-op nurse. Her name was China, Nurse China. Absolutely loved her. In hindsight, I would have just hired her to do my massages. She was super professional. She was super helpful. She was on time. She communicated with me greatly. So I loved her. I really wish that I would have did the opposite way. I should have just hired a nurse to do my massages, and I should have just left the licensed massage therapists where they were at. But hey, it is what it is. That's my personal experience. Definitely no shade against massages by Ari. I think that she is amazing. I think that her communication is amazing. It's just, again, the luck of the draw for the 2 massage therapists that I had. Just, they were they weren't the greatest. So yeah, that's it. Other than that, I don't have any other regrets. Again, I was nervous prior to surgery. I won't say that Dr. Berman did anything in particular to erase the nerves that I was having. It was just like, once he came in to talk to me, it was kind of like, hey, it is what it is. It's reality. You're here. You might as well go through with it. Yeah, so I mean, his bedside manner was cool. I wasn't like, oh my God, he's so nice. Like, we really didn't kick it or connect on a level that I hear other girls talk about. My service with dolls, plastic surgery, was perfectly fine in my opinion. I hear people complain about feeling like they don't have personal treatment and feeling like they suck with communication and all that other stuff. I didn't have any of those problems. I like dolls. I like the staff. You know, any email I sent was answered, you know, expeditiously. Any text messages I sent was answered expeditiously. The only thing that is frustrating with dolls is that it's hard to get people on the actual phone, but I'm a text/email person anyway. And sometimes I feel like you have to use what you have to use. You can't try to force an entity to use a communication mechanism that you're most comfortable with. Sometimes you have to bend and just go with what works for the company. Like, if they don't have the manpower to answer their phones, then stop calling. Like, email them, text them, whatever the case may be. If you want to answer. And so that was perfectly fine for me. My pre-op was smooth. My post-op was smooth. I didn't have any attitudes. During the post-op, there's a black nurse that everyone complains about. She was super nice to me. We kicked it, we laughed, we giggled. And I was late. I was like 20-30 minutes late. I know she was ready to go to hell home, but we kicked it. Like, she was cool. She talked to me, we explained things. I don't know. My experience with dogs was fine. I'm happy with my results. I love my results. Eventually I'll do a body reveal. I want to get a little bit further in my healing process before I actually do a body reveal, because they tell me that this isn't the body that I'm gonna get, but we'll see, because I absolutely love it. My stomach isn't like super flat yet. My waist is still like 34 inches, but I'm actually happy with it. So yeah, that's the end of this video. I don't have nothing more to say. I want to eat my breakfast. It's getting cold. I mean, bumping my gums with you heifers. But thank you again for watching this video. Leave any questions you might have in the comments. Anything I might have forgot. I'm gonna get better with my videos going forward. Now that I'm feeling a lot better, I can move more. So yeah, super excited. Y'all have a good day.